So, talking about the trends and industry, what do you think will happen in the near future? Maybe what is the innovation, kind of innovation that will happen in the near future?
The thing that I've mostly seen from different publishers for trends, it's not game style so much, but just a move towards smaller games, typically with maybe a $20 or €20 price, with few rules, so that people can learn more quickly, and typically it'll be a faster game. And it's partly just a recognition. Of course, people have very busy lives and stressed times, and they want a break, and you want something I can learn quickly.
You see it like that, so it moves towards the simpler
if
games.
you watch, there's this was Pegasus a couple of years ago introduced their smaller game line, and they keep adding more titles to that and sort of going away from the larger ones. I mean, some companies certainly succeed with larger ones. If you look at Feuerland, they have a huge line right now. Or what Capstone is doing with complex games that take 2 to 3 hours. They have a market for that. But Pegasus is going for a lot of smaller lines. Amigo was talking about how they were releasing fewer titles, typically, mostly on the card game side. Cosmos has done a little bit of that where it shrinks its line. So they're going towards a market that is more towards casual pickup in terms of the games, where it's easy if you say, oh, it's only $20, sure, I'll try.
Doesn't hurt.
Yes, but 50 is a little harder.
To think a lot more.
I mean, it's hard to talk about trends sometimes because the market is so big.
Sure.
At the same time that the larger publishers are going towards this $20 game, you also have the Kickstarter games that are $100, $150 games, and it's a separate market on its own. So it depends what you're trying to do, and that's why, in addition to being a designer, often you have to be a marketer as well for your own material. I remember talking with someone who worked at Rio Grande, and they had a fantastic design they wanted to do, but it would have used custom dice, and it would have been something like a $50 dice game. And they're like, well, we can't publish it.
Yeah.
You have to make something that can be published and sold in a reasonable amount of money.
Yeah.
Unless you want to just do it as an art project, you want to make your own style, maybe then you go on Kickstarter and here's my limited edition $50 dice game. So you have to be aware of what can be done, with the actual production of something.
Okay, so as a designer, also we need to consider the market or the feasibility of the to publish the game. So
Yes.
For example, is there a component that's hard to produce?
Yes. Yes.
Do you see it like that?
You definitely, yes, because talking with established designers, I love talking to Rainer Knizia, who's been doing this for 30 years, and he knows what's possible with a publisher, and knows what, whether they're going to use wood and how they do this and how many components and roughly how things will cost to make something. And so you can design a game that kind of fits the price point they want. And of course that comes with time. With, you don't know that initially. Which again, it might be why you would start with only card games or something, because card games are easy.
It's easy to produce.
Yes. And then you have, the card sheet is often, it's 110 cards, or it's 132, depending on the layout. And so you're designing games that work with that number. And, you learn the constraints of that over time.
So it helps your game being published in the wider audience. It helps your game being published in a...
Yes. If you have... Yes.
If you consider that aspect.
Yes. It works better. Of course, sometimes you just if the core idea is good enough, then the publisher develops it and changes.
Maybe change some.
Yes, makes things. But it helps if you make it easier for the publisher to say yes. So.
Okay, so I think that's all for today. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And do you have any message to maybe our designer or our publisher in Indonesia on how they can maybe excel or to be heard in the industry?
Oh, it's
one last message maybe?
Yes, I mean, a lot of I'll continue. I mean, designers, in a way, they have to self-promote. They have to publicize their own works, and it's hard sometimes to get out there and meet people, but in the United States market, some of the most active events I see are unpub events where designers bring their games and present their prototypes to everyone and just get feedback again and again and again. And it's just, you put your work out there and you help spread awareness of it. French designers have a very interesting habit where they play prototypes in public all the time. They're never worried about someone stealing the game. Instead, they just want to expose the game as much as possible. So playing in public spaces and playing at game fairs and playing at designer events and just testing over and over and over again to make it, as public as possible. Posting on Facebook, being active in design groups, and participating in design groups too. Maybe run your own blog where you're cataloging the history of a game. It's doing videos to show things. Social media really helps awareness as you get followers for doing things. It's often contributing information to other people, and then other people follow you back in return. And yes, you have to be...
That's how you started.
Yes, you have to... It's hard. So, like Donald X, he kind of succeeded without being public. But I think he's not the example that necessarily works. Although he did make the effort. He went to conventions, met with Rio Grande, showed him the games. Like, he went through the effort to go visit there. And you have to make the effort to put yourself out there in some way, whether by traveling to conventions or to design groups or public videos and blogs, to make people see you, let people see you, make people see you, but yes.
Yes, you got the idea. I think.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much
for
the time and see you.
Yes, bye.